Here the RAV4 lineup for the visiting Buccos tonight. Starling Marte back atop the order. He's in center field as Andrew McCutcheon gets a routine day off. More often than Polanco back in the lineup batting third. Josh Bell cleans up. David Freese, the ex-Cardinal, bats fifth. Luplow and Diaz, Mercer and Williams round out the Pirates order tonight.
Okay, we'll take a real quick look at Luke's numbers. I mentioned his strikeouts earlier. 45 strikeouts in just 36 innings. Definitely, despite the fact that he doesn't throw 98, 99, he does get those Ks.
Filling in for the injured Adam Wainwright. Might be bidding to stay in the rotation. And the Honda defense for St. Louis tonight. There's Tommy Pham in center field with Brichick and Piscotty flanking him. Carpenter, Mejia, Garcia, and Martinez in the infield tonight. And the iconic Yadier Molina will be catching for the Cardinals. Molina still hanging on there at 35. Still one of the better catchers defensively. Tommy Pham, one of the better offensive players we've seen lately. And Marte, who has hit the Cardinals well throughout his career. Trying to get things started quickly tonight. You can tell it's late summer as nightfall already setting in.
At game time, it's already getting a little darker, especially if you look toward the east. Fall baseball is upon us.
Starling Marte ready. Down a strike to Weaver.
93. That's about his average as far as velocity. Throw a few above it. A few below it.
Trying to get Marte on a hot streak. Maybe this will be a good start for him with the Cardinals, his opponent. Pirates have been getting some good pitching, and when they have had some decent offense, they'll score, or they'll win, I should say. And it's been hard to come by against Weaver so far.
A piece of that changeup.
Try to get that speed aboard to start things here in this one. Luke Weaver wears that big number 62 on his back. That when you first get called up, right, you get that kind of number. Out of Florida State, grew up in DeLand, Florida, baseball hotbed in North Florida. Mejia, first look at him, and Marte easily would beat that one out.
You're going to beat that out even if Mejia comes up with it. Good. It didn't matter if he's going to catch that or not. Clean, get up, whatever. Marte had that beat, but kind of odd. They went with 3 change-ups in a row.
That is the best secondary offering for Weaver. Marte and those 14 steals are aboard.
I thought after the 2 change-ups, they'd try to go by upstairs with all those strikeouts he gets. Reading earlier today that fastball upstairs is a friend of his. A good pitch for him.
Trying to keep Marte close. He's the one guy in the Pirates lineup that doesn't mean situationally he can go. He thinks he can beat the pitcher.
Yeah, he has the green light. He can go when he wants. No restrictions. I'm sure he has a stop sign over there that for whatever reason they want him to stay put, that they can make him stay there.
That sign would blend in with his crowd, though, so it would be hard to pick up.
Hard to pick it out, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of red, of course, here in St. Louis.
Some rain tonight, though, so
shirt giveaway.
You don't see a lot of green Cardinal shirts, but you do tonight. They're everywhere.
This is tailor-made. Slow to develop, and that allows more off the reach.
Yeah, they were very slow to develop there. It took forever for Garcia to get to the bag. He was playing so far over the pole.
And Moroff, who runs decently, able to beat out that back end. So just the one out then. Unfortunate that Garcia had been so far off. We'll see Gregory Polanco batting for the first time in 4 weeks. Hamstring concern for the 3rd time this year. And getting to the point where he's healthy and can play, but Clint Hurdle talking about both Polanco and Adam Frazier that, okay, we're going to ease these guys back in. We're not going to try to play them 3 games in a row. They might come out of games, played just a portion of a game at first. Especially with Polanco, considering that he's had that hamstring on 3 separate occasions, put him on the disabled list this year. And that last hamstring ailment sidelining him after he had a good July. He was really starting to come into his own finally, hitting for some power, but hitting well above 300 for the month.
That's what I'm talking about right there. A deceptive type fastball that he elevates a little bit.
Yeah, 92 is actually a below average velocity.
And threw it right by him.
And the changeup. Kind of old fashioned, huh, with Weaver, add and subtract for the most part.
Yeah, he's got a classic type delivery that adds to the deception. Gives him that deception. He throws from a very low spot when he releases the ball. He gets down, drags that back leg, top him Seaver-like. And I think that's why he gets those swings and misses when he elevates the ball.
Now there's so much more than just the number, right? Miles per hour. If that were the whole detail, then
a lot more to it.
Josh Bell batting with more off aboard.
I mean, if that's all there was to it, you'd go to the minor leagues. You just look at look, see how he gets that back leg. He's almost got his knee in the dirt when he's releasing it. Really drops and drives.
That was a term I remember hearing a lot of, probably in the 80s or so.
Yeah, that was when I first got into the minor leagues in the 70s. That was what the Phillies taught. I mean, if they were going to change your style, that's what they wanted you to do: to drop, stay low, drive to the plate, and really throw off a bent front leg. And there was guys that did that, did it very well, and other guys that pitched more upright, threw kind of off that straight front leg. And you can't say one way is correct and the other is wrong, because you can find guys that are very successful doing it both styles.
Weaver allows the leadoff hit, but no more. And St. Louis will come to bat here in the first. And tonight they were in San Diego playing a night game yesterday, so both clubs getting in the wee hours overnight. And here's the 9 that he has put together tonight for the Angry Birds. And Matt Carpenter atop the order at third base. He's been bothered with injury. Stephen Piscotty, and then Tommy Pham, who has really swung a hot bat. Jose Martinez very much the same. He's at first base tonight with Molina batting fifth. Grichuk and Garcia, Mejia, and Luke Weaver.
Take a quick look at Trevor's numbers on the year. ERA is he's worked it down from a 4.7 to a 4.14 in just the last 3 starts. Really has pitched well of late since that game where he got roughed up with a home run ball by these Cardinals.
Matt Carpenter will lead it off at third base tonight.
And he doesn't give up home run balls. Did that night.
Yeah, he's been one of the best in baseball all season at limiting home runs. But that night, he thinks the reason why was he wasn't getting that strike call, you know, right at the knees or right at the hollow of the knees. And so his adjustment was, okay, well, I want to get the low strikes tonight. I'm going to bring it up just a hair, right? It was just enough that it was very much in the hitting zone for the Cardinals that evening. And he said that he had learned his lesson, that he's not going to deviate from what has made him successful. Part of learning as a rookie, I guess, right?
Yep.
Some trial and error.
But he'll find out too it's not that simple. Now, for instance, that last pitch, center. Definitely not at the hollow of the knees.
Not every mistake is capitalized upon. And not every well executed pitch goes the pitcher's way either. Carpenter's been banged up a little bit, some right shoulder concern that has kept him out for most of the last week.
I'm kind of surprised to see him in the lineup when I get to the ballpark.
And at third base, for that matter. They'll work a walk to start things. Leadoff man on for St. Louis. Let's check in on our Rivers Casino tips to win. What do you got, Bob?
Well, what we have is we need a little help for the bullpen, and George Contos is back, and I think he's going to do a good job tonight, maybe 7th to 8th inning. And the Redbirds are not going to cross the yellow line. They're not going to hit any home runs. That was the problem last time Trevor was out on the mound, and tonight's not going to be a problem. He's going to get back to being that guy that does not give up the long ball.
I like what you came up with tonight. Help the Red Cross. Harvey, Irma.
Tonight's theme.
Yeah. Think about all the folks in harm's way. Hoping that Irma's landfall is a lot less severe. I'm thinking of those Harvey still. Nice double play ball, as we see Trevor Williams, when he's at his best, gets balls like that.
Yep, and that was a good job too of you know, the difference between what we saw with the Cardinals and this. Moroff jumped on it.
The defense for the Pirates tonight: Starling Marte manning center, with McCutcheon getting the day off. Luplow and Polanco on the left and right side of him. Freese, Mercer, Moroff, and Bell, with Elias Diaz doing the catching for the Pirates tonight. Tommy Pham, be more of a household name. I think we'll see a little bit more of him as year goes
remember
on.
how late Garcia got there? It looked Moroff very quick getting into the bag, so he was able to easily just kind of set up and make that little flick over there. Williams didn't have to wait, just turn and fire.
I would imagine as a second baseman, I mean, you kind of know when the shortstop's going to get that ball, so right away your first step's toward the bag, right?
Well, Moroff didn't. Yes, I mean, to cut Garcia a little bit of slack, he was playing a long way off, but still, I mean, he was awfully slow getting to the bag, and then Moroff was instantly there, and that was the big difference in those two plays. Why they didn't turn one, and the double play the Pirates just turned was so simple and so quick.
The little things that can make the difference over the course of a ball game, over the course of a season. And with Josh Harrison out at second base for the rest of the season, getting more and more looks at Moroff. Fastball at 95 from Williams. Can show that above average velocity when he desires. Good pitch there to strike out Pham. And after the leadoff walk, a quick inning for Williams. We're scoreless through one. Here, very warm here today, as well as it was into the mid-80s this afternoon.
Yeah, I think 1 o'clock, according to my phone, it hit 90 degrees.
Yeah, I felt that was very much like summer here today.
Looking at that, I'm like, yeah, it is St. Louis. This is the place that's, for me, hottest place we go.
Yeah, fall comes a little later here.
Houston used to give it a good run for its money. If maybe even you could say it was hotter.
Yeah, the humidity here.
And in an old Busch Stadium.
Oh, with the AstroTurf, right?
Oh, and the all closed in, no air. That place was challenging.
David Freese got a warm reception when he was introduced, and not nearly as nice of a greeting from Luke Weaver. 2 strikeouts now.
I don't know if I told you this or not, but that was the only stadium where our outfielders and the infielders too, because they were on the turf, where they would come in between innings, actually stand in trays full of crushed ice, cool the cleats down. It was that hot.
Jordan Luplow lining a base hit. We were talking about Luplow when we began the broadcast here tonight, and you know, some of these younger guys getting extended looks. It's really hard to evaluate a guy if they're getting a pinch hit appearance here or there, but when you see him every day.
Well, you know, I think it's as much or more of getting them experience than it is evaluating them. And I think that's, to me, that's the importance of having the young guys come up here and play. It's for them. I mean, yeah, you can make some kind of evaluation. I mean, you can evaluate somebody a little bit more on 50 at bats.
And Diaz lines one through the middle.
50 at bats in September than you can on watching him sit on the dugout bench for for the whole month. So there is value in that, but I think it's a greater value in getting these young guys like Luplow and Diaz, get them up there and get them as many at bats as they can. Get them in that field playing defense in these big stadiums, especially here with the atmosphere that they have never had anywhere in the minor leagues, nothing close to this. So I think that's where a lot of the value is in September baseball for younger players that are, very inexperienced. That they're just coming up in some cases for the very first time.
Now Mercer with 2 men aboard. Probably also for confidence too, right? I mean, you get up here and you might be facing a guy that you grew up admiring, or
it's just you're just seeing what it's like. So you're not overwhelmed by it if you happen to make a team coming out of spring training.
On a strike. Mercer, the number 8 hitter, batting ahead of the pitcher, so a key spot here with 2 men on. Luplow and Diaz both lining singles right up the middle. Outer edge extended. Trevor Williams would bat next.
Used to say that one was on the block.
And there's one. Double play. That time Weaver gets it. He was in some hot water. They stepped in a bucket of ice. Nightfall already setting in here. Let's take a look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders. And for the Pirates, this is anybody that has started 20 games this season and throughout the league. The lowest home run rates there. And you see Trevor Williams very much a part of that mix.
Yes, he is. And that's with Trevor giving up those 3 home runs in what, 3 innings or recently.
Very unusual. Tyone on the left leads that list, and Garrett Cole, a happy birthday to him.
He's not on that list.
He's given up a lot of home runs this year, but in his last start, about as good, probably his best start of the year, right?
Yeah, he went through,
scoreless.
he really did go through a little bit of a rough spot, maybe 4 or 5 starts in a row. Where, other than that, he's pitched great this year.
And this in a year where there have been more home runs, will be more home runs than ever. So limiting home runs has been more challenging. Look at that. The 2 hits to the swing and bunt, little broken bat flare out the left. I mean, that was a dominant outing. Hot shot to Freeze. 1 out after he snares that Martinez liner.
Good positioning right there, huh? Just kind of had to lean over to his right. Got to tighten up the strings after a line drive.
Grew up in Wildwood, just outside of St. Louis. David Freese. Molina connects. Marte with an easy read on that one. $18 pitches and 5 outs for Williams. This is what he's starting to do more and more of, is be able to get deep into ball games, pitch efficiently. This is what makes me optimistic. Something that you've talked about all year, really, is, you know, the basis for any team, for any individual game, is good starting pitching. Ray Serge, pitching coach, and the Pirates have had some consistent starting pitching all year.
The foundation of your ball team is the starting rotation. And, you know, that obviously is not the whole shoot match. There's a lot of other things.
We found it out, yeah, sure.
Now you need, once you get that foundation laid, you need walls, ceilings, windows, doors.
And if you're lucky, some insulation.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to do with, you know, maybe just 2 doors. You don't have the balcony off, you know, or anything. It's not the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, you know, all the other stuff doesn't matter unless you get starting pitchers that can do things like that.
Trevor Williams needs just 7 pitches to retire the Cardinals in order, blanking them through 2.
Up half and a third in a scoreless game for the Buccos. I'm Robbie. It's Mikowski. Well, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Trevor Williams' big league debut. And who could forget the moment after the game where he presented his father with the game ball after earning the win. And I asked him what exactly it is that he remembers from that night.
For us, it was just where my dad was at that night. You know, he was really close to losing his life. So it was fun. It was just a moment that we'll never forget. It was a very heavy moment for us. We always joke that, you know, it got magnified a little bit, that everyone got to see him cry and whatnot. But no, it's a moment we think about a lot, and we're extremely thankful for.
And obviously a very special moment for Trevor and his father Richard, his wife Jackie, son Isaac. And as you probably have heard the story by now, is that his father Richard was 2 to 3 months away from almost losing his battle to cancer, and now here he is, happy and healthy. I know he's watching right now from San Diego, watching Trevor take on the Buccos. Guys, what a fantastic moment that was. We'll never forget it.
Oh, thanks, Robbie. Yeah, I mean, stage 4 lymphoma, and yeah, it was just a moment that he didn't know if he'd have another one like that. And since December, in remission, and it's fantastic to know that Richard's doing all right. Look at the fresh-faced Trevor Williams. And coming in relief, and yeah, son making it all the way to the major leagues. And now Richard gets to see many, many more moments. And hopefully you're watching tonight, Richard. Very, very glad to know you're doing well.
I like the beard. I think Trevor wears it well. There's some guys I'm not so sure. But
yeah. He doesn't dye his like Brian Wilson used to do. So. The first out here in the third inning. Kind of an in thing again, you know, back when he first came up, right? Beards were.
He had the long sideburns.
Yeah.
I think were kind of the thing. The mustache. People actually had mustaches back then. I tried.
I mean, it showed up.
Oh, there's a mustache. I think Ray is from the mustache era.
Yeah. That's when, how you know where you pitched in the 80s? Yeah, I got a mustache. But Ray wears that well, too. He's got the little tails on the end there.
Slider for a strike.
The bearded Marte. Infield hit his first time.
Well, you've seen a lot of changeups already tonight.
And the kind of wave at that seems like that's pretty tough to pick up. That ball at best was starting in the very bottom of the zone. Ground ball.
Another changeup right there.
Yeah. Go with what works. Your Giant Eagle Advantage card can help you save on Pirates tickets this month. Use your Advantage card to save up to $10 per ticket on the outfield box Sunday through Thursday. And you can go to pirates.com/advantage card for the final homestand coming up for the Pirates. There's be 8 games remaining at PNC Park. 18th through the 27th. The Brewers, these Cardinals, and then the Baltimore Orioles will finish the home slate this year. Interleague play. Moroff beat out the back end of a double play ball. His first time around. You see that batting average 193. That doesn't really tell the whole story. Remember, he got off to a 4 for 50 start in his career. 4 for 48 this year.
It wasn't pretty early on.
Yeah, it was an adjustment, right?
Well, I think it was more of a mental adjustment for him than anything else. He needed to get some confidence built up, to believe in himself, to think that, okay, I can do this. This is no different than anything I've ever done, any level where I've ever played. And then once he kind of had that little break through, it looked like he was a different hitter up there.
Now, really came at the All-Star break, and coinciding roughly with that first home run that he hit. Maybe a little bit of confidence. You see since the break there, August, September, good batting averages. Remember, he hasn't played a whole lot, but now starting to get some of that regular playing time. And he's called out on strikes on that fastball at 95 from Weaver. So these young right-handers showing off here tonight. On the bottom of the third. And you can save big with the Dick's Sporting Goods scorecard. Use it to save $10 off tickets in the outfield box for the remaining Sunday through Thursday home games. Go to pirates.com/scorecard and get your tickets. Go on out for that final homestand. Pirates beginning tonight a 10-day, 9-game road trip. Taking on the divisional foes. St. Louis, then going to Milwaukee and then Cincinnati. So the first 2 series, of course, very much with potential playoff implications. Garcia with the Cardinals' first base hit, and he's going to try for 2. See Luclo's arm. Right on the money, but late.
They're kind of hitting with a 2-strike type approach right from the very beginning of that at bat. I think that was a fastball pretty much right down the middle, but he's going to You know, it's staying inside the ball, kind of just blocking. Push that ball out down the left field line.
Yeah, almost a defensive.
Yeah, two-strike approach, but he used it right from the very beginning. That 1975 flashback. Guys don't hit like that nowadays. Not very often, anyway.
Mejia up the middle. A productive out. Oh, there's Richard Williams. Dad's not watching tonight on the broadcast. He's watching from here in St. Louis. Trevor's dad.
A good place to watch a ball game. Great ballpark.
Williams is residing near San Diego, so making his way to CSUN. One of the final outings for Trevor this season.
Scorecard going.
That's a great baseball, Dad, huh? Keep scoring. Trevor, you remember when Martinez lined out?
With the pitcher going on here. Weaver's down discussing things.
We saw the Cubs on multiple occasions go with a safety squeeze, and so you know, trying to make sure that if there is that kind of a situation here, right, that they're covered. Look at the lowdown and all the scores.
Yeah, we're next door to Jim Deshaies about that. But the safety squeeze. They said they've got to where they use that a ton. It's almost automatic as soon as they get somebody at third. Especially when Baez is at third base. They like to do it with him.
Weaver can handle the bat all right, though. In his brief time with Garcia there at third, Weaver hitting over 300 in his career. Very good athlete. With the infield in, Freese is only carried down the first, and they'll drive in the run.
Yeah, I know both pitchers look like they're really in command of this ball game, but you know things can change, and early in a game like this, you know, it's like very iffy. You got to play at the plate, maybe, maybe not. Just get the out over at first base and concede this early run.
Yeah, that would have been awfully close at the plate.
Yeah, it's a tag play. I mean, if it's a bases loaded, there's a force out at the plate or something, maybe. But no, that was smart play by Freese. Just get that sure out, the second out. Now you got 2 outs, nobody on base. They're not in a position to build a big, you know, crooked number type inning. And you go home there, you don't get the out. Now there's only that. Now you get the top of the lineup coming up. There's only 1 out. Runner already on base at first. Weaver, who can run, you know. So I mean, definitely the veteran move right there by Freese, getting that second out.
Well, the old adage is, what, you got to score a run to win the game anyway.
Yeah.
So first run of the game in the third inning, no big deal. Well, if Garcia had gotten a poor jump from third or something, that's different. Carpenter drew a walk his first time. Yeah, David Freese, of course, coming up with the Cardinals. World Series hero for St. Louis. Always receives a big ovation. Baseball town here in St. Louis on their first little. So Carpenter has worked 2 walks. That's his thing. Second in the league in walks.
Good looking uni.
Yeah, you grew up here and you're a Cardinal fan no matter what.
From the very, very beginning.
This is a part of the culture here in St. Louis, has been for a long, long time.
Kind of like the Yankees of the National League as far as their history. I mean,
there's an air about them.
They got more World Series banners up there than I can count.
Mercer He'll get the lead out and end the inning on a nice play. Hard hit ball, and Mercer able to force out Carpenter, but the Cardinals have an early lead. Always great to see the Bucco fans here on the road. Jordy Mercer making a fine play to end the inning. Gregory Polanco back in the lineup tonight, activated from the disabled list.
Yeah, time for us to scratch out a run.
Talk about the old-timey kind of feeling and the history of baseball here. We were alluding to that last thing, but that's how the Cardinals scored that run last night, right? You get that double, a couple of bounce outs, move the man over, pick up a run.
A very disciplined at bat. Got the double. Hit behind the runner.
There's Andrew McCutchen, who's getting a day off today. Yeah, the Pirates will balance, getting Polanco back in there on occasion. Not going to be playing 9 innings every single day. Try to ease him back in some. Also want to get a look at Jordan Luplow out there. He's out there tonight. Adam Frazier has come back too, so he's going to factor in there as well. And Clint Hurdle saying that he probably won't see both Polanco and Frazier play at the same time because they're going to. There's Adam Frazier, activated today as well. Try to get 5 innings here type thing. Don't want to keep substituting multiple times in the same game. But Frazier will play in the outfield as well as the infield. Not going to be any limitations. Luke Weaver has struck out 4.
That 4-seamer that he brings up. He really gets low, and so that ball is on a very straight plane.
Almost appears to rise.
Yeah,
right?
no downward angle on his pitches. That's drop and drive style right there.
Josh Bell grounded out his first time. Now is that to changing the eye angle and things like, is that because I mean a lot of times you hear if you leave the ball up it's a bad thing, but there's an effectiveness to that.
If you leave the ball up and it's not in toward the hands a little bit, I think it's a bad thing. But if you get it in the where you could say you threw it up by the guy's hands, like his hands if he was swinging, then that's what you want to do. Now that up and away, that's useless. He could have just said, hey, let's make it ball 2. I mean, not even throw the pitch.
But coming up and in, because even if you do,
as Pete Vukovich used to say, when I asked him, hey Pete, what's up, he always says anything above the knees unless it's on the hands. And that is a great general rule right there.
The former Cy Young Award winner.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the way it is.
And then messing with the timing with a change of pace. Bell takes the next one out to right. Well, he is certainly not afraid to double or triple up on that changeup. And I guess Bell may have guessed it there, huh?
I think that it's probably Molina that's. I'm betting Weaver's just doing what he's told out there with a catcher like Molina. He's the one that's making those calls on how many straight changeups they throw.
Bell snapping an 0 for 12 with that base hit. Freese has not picked up Weaver so far. He struck out back in the second.
Weaver trying to add a second type of fastball. Trying to get one that has a little sink to it also. Kind of mix things up a little bit for him.
You mentioned his strikeouts.
But I haven't really seen that tonight.
Yeah.
Everything when he throws the fastball looks to me like it's straight four-seam type, and then he's got the change up and a couple of sliders. I think he calls them a cutter, but they're sliders.
Well, you mentioned, his high strikeout totals, and high strikeout totals usually mean high pitch totals, right? So maybe a sink a ball get you through an inning. That's what Williams is so good at.
Yeah, Weaver is, young enough and inexperienced enough to where he's going to evolve a lot over the next year or two. Far from being a finished product. Going to find out what works best for him, and find out, learn the hitters.
How much of an improvement did you feel once you started to get out a little roll with that?
I got worse.
Well,
I got worse until probably 5 years later before I started getting better again.
But that was probably for different reasons, not because you didn't know the hitters.
Yeah, probably.
But once you got on a roll, I'm saying, like for instance, in '88, you're an all-star.
Once I became a Pirate,
right,
then it was a lot different.
I'm thinking more from that.
Yeah, when I was
that time of your career.
When I got sent to Atlanta, not much worked.
But yeah, you went from kind of a swingman guy with the Pirates, and then became an all-star a few years later after you kind of learned the league some, right? That was part of the your maturation, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that in my case it was more about learning to be more of a pitcher with a lot of different pitches instead of just going out there and trying to throw the ball hard, do that sort of thing. I mean, that's basically in a nutshell what it was all about. I was a little hard-headed, I guess. Didn't realize that I had to throw the ball over the plate. And once I got that figured out, then it was okay again.
Weaver trying to spray it all around. He strikes out against David Freese. The ninth pitch of this plate appearance coming up. This is where Freese really excels. I mean, look at that. I mean, able to stay alive, work the count.
He's off the plate, thinking right field, and that gives him a little extra time to see the ball before he has to make a decision.
Bell running. And Freese. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes on him.
Change up right down the middle. Like it was off Molina's mask.
Freese strikes out, and Bell easily thrown out, and that ends the inning. Molina negating the base runner. Still 1-0 St. Louis. Our UPMC scoreboard. Very nice night here at Busch Stadium. Tommy Pham will start things. Cardinals have 1 hit off Williams. That was a leadoff double last inning. And a couple of ground balls and score. Williams with several very good outings this year, and being able to go not only pitching 7 innings or more in a handful, but 7 scoreless in 3 of those outings so far this year. So one of those 8 innings without a run tonight, pitching from behind despite just allowing 1 hit early. And in an era where we're seeing the innings from starters continue to drop, it's nice to see a rookie pitcher who's providing some length as he matures.
Yeah, above average in that regard.
Yeah, if you go 5 2/3 innings now, that's about an average. There's Tyone and Ivan Nova. Tyone's next start is going to be skipped. Clint Hurdle was saying today. Nova's previous one was. Nova will start here Sunday. Pham will work a walk. Third walk issued by Williams. A lot of pitches just beneath the strike zone in that last sequence. Now the red hot Jose Martinez. He's in the cleanup spot tonight.
Some more low pitches here. Get that ground ball low and stay on the outside part of the plate.
That's where Diaz sets up.
And that's where he throws it.
That's another thing about Williams. I mean, he's probably got the best fastball command on his staff right now, or at least darn close to it. I mean, he can.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is a night where he's walked 3 guys. It doesn't sound like a good say to.
Cole does a good job with his fastball too.
I was thinking either he or Cole, depending on kind of what streak they're on. Cole more lately, probably.
Yeah, you know, it does. That's a good point. It depends on what streak they're on, because it's going to vary from, you know, just like hitters kind of go up and down. They get hot, they cool off. Pitchers, and they do the same thing, and the command is a big part of them. When they're going good, they're usually throwing the ball right where they want.
Yeah, tonight Williams probably not quite as sharp. Cole last time around, absolutely, it was fantastic. And when you throw the fastball as much as he does, you'd be able to put it where you want. Those are leaders in how often they use the fastball versus the other pitches. I see Nova on that list too.
Number 1 in all of baseball in fastball percentage as a team. They throw a lot of fastballs. They'll throw hard. One of the hardest throwing teams in baseball also. Neil likes to bring in the guys and can rush it up there. That's one of the things he looks for. One of the things.
Yeah.
I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, but he likes guys that
well, you can't teach that.
Yeah. You can't.
Why don't you throw 100?
Yeah,
right
you
now?
Can't coach that up.
Yeah.
Hey,
stop throwing 92. Well, I guess with Chad Cooley, kind of did. He always had that in him. Being facetious. Now, between Cole and Cool, those are the and Luis Castillo of the Reds. Those are the 3 hardest throwers. I guess if Syndergaard comes back like he was prior, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, these are the elite guys in terms of starting pitcher velocity in the National League. There's Chad Cool. What I was alluding to earlier is, you know, he started the year kind of the sinker slider type pitcher, and then we would see that 4-seamer sneak out at 96, 98. Wait a minute.
I'm going to ask
you
him
got that?
Who throws harder, Chad or Chad?
His alter ego on the mound. Chad Cool says he becomes Chet, or at least his teammates say he becomes Chet on the mound. He's really just a pleasant and likable guy, and when he gets on the mound, he's irascible and mean. He's a competitor.
Perfect.
Right, that's what you want.
Absolutely.
There's a good example right there of Williams when he's at his sharpest. That pitch is going to be right down and away on the corner, And Martinez is going to be going back to the dugout. Give Williams credit. When he misses, he's missing in a spot where most of the time he's not going to get hit, versus missing in the zone too much. I think the reflection from his bright shining elbow guard got Martinez a little cross-eyed there. Looks like a WWE belt. That's for Tyler Graham. Base hit. And with Pham running on the pitch, he's at third with nobody out. The Cardinals have not mustered much against Williams, but they are
good breaking ball down right there at the very edge of the strike zone. I mean, you got to give Martinez credit on that one.
They're making the most out of their opportunity.
That could have been a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And Martinez went down after that ball, and it wasn't like he just ripped it into left field, but certainly got enough of it for the base hit and to protect the runner going on the.
He's locked in now. 10-game hitting streak for Martinez, who's hitting almost 500.
As a hitter, you know if they're running or not. I mean, you're looking down, you see the signs, you see that they're going to start the runner, and it puts a little pressure on you to get that ball put in play. Not really a hit and run, because you don't have to swing at a ball, but if it's a strike, that guy's going to be out if you don't hit it. And we saw that really the last inning with the Pirates.
Now, one exception might be that Pham, with 19 steals, has some speed. He might be able to straight steal versus, say, Bell.
That's true.
But generally speaking, they start a runner like Bell.
Yeah, if you start a runner, it's
middling speed. Yeah.
What you're doing is you're saying, okay, the guy's not going to strike out. He's going to put the ball in play, and that's going to protect the runner. And you're going to try and stay out of a double play. That's why you're running, to stay out of a double play.
Men at the corners, nobody out. Cardinals up 1-0. That time Molina not out in front. Got him the first time around, swinging through one.
Should have been a strike.
That's about as well placed as you can put it.
Computer liked it.
Smiley face emoji. Martinez not much of a threat to run over there at second, but he has stolen 2 bases. The slow-footed Molina at the plate. Never know that. I mean, that might be that kind of situation. The runner at third, does that change though? Or you might start a runner to stay out of a double play.
You can. They don't do it as often though.
Molina having a tough time with that slider.
Does not like that pitch. Cubs started the runners with bases loaded one time. Saw that on a highlight. Stay out of the double play.
2 on, nobody out. And the 2-2. Keep going to it. Williams only needed 31 pitches to get through the first 3 innings, so this is in comparison a laborious fourth. The next will be his 20th pitch of the frame.
These are the kind of situations he's been getting out of late. He's been pressured a little bit. He figures out a way to escape.
He'll strike out Molina.
Look at that, broke his bat too.
Molina is out, and we'll go back out to our studios. Check in with Rob King. He's got a game break. Wow, that's not a guy that you would think would ground into a triple play either. He's got some speed. Haven't seen one of those this year with the Pirates. Wouldn't mind a double play right here now after the
that's
strikeout.
We would love to see. Pirates playing a shift in the infield. Nobody on the second base side at all. And you have Bell holding on the runner. So there is a massive hole over there. What will Grichuk do? If he's trying to throw the ball the other way, that would be the one to hit, but he took it.
I had 2 strikes.
Another one over there.
I mean, if Grichuk wasn't, you know, that dead pole type hitter, I mean, he could just poke that ball right through the right side. Oh yeah, that's not where they're calling for it.
I don't care if he's a dead pole hitter or not. If he's throwing the ball away like that, I mean,
you can just
could easily poke one that way. And
a little check swing.
And here's another thing too about, like, when you hit the ball the other way, what are you likely to do? Lift the ball, get it in the air. Fly ball to right field scores a run here. So this is a situational type hitting that, why don't major leaguers do it?
Yeah, it escapes a lot of hitters. And instead he pulls the ball on the ground, and they're going to get a run out of it as Grichuk just barely beat it out. But still, that's what Williams was hoping to accomplish.
Yeah, pull the ball on the ground. Exactly what he wanted.
There goes a run batted in. That close to getting out of it without the run.
Wow. I don't know. Are they going to challenge this?
I think he barely beat it. That close, though. So Grichuk still gets the run batted in, despite playing into the Pirates' hand. 2-0 St. Louis. Greg Garcia doubled, lead off the 3rd inning, and came around to score. Williams doing a good job right there. I mean, yes, they do get the run, but 1st and 3rd, nobody out, and you come within an inch of getting out of it with no runs. Well, now if he can get the final out here.
There's the foot actually on the bag, and the ball is about 2 inches from the leather. Close as you can get.
Soft pop. And the final out. Cardinals bring the leadoff man on around to score and lead 2-0 through 4. They all come around, and Taylor, you know, that last one was an Aaron Altair misplay by Taylor a couple years ago. But now turnabout is a fair play, I guess. He gets his own and to show off his wheels. Two 2-0 St. Louis as we start the 5th. Luplow, a hard hit single bounding through the middle his first time around. Having a really fine year in the minor leagues this year. Hit better than 300 in his 2 stops with Altoona and Indy. Every now and then you'll get a guy like Luplow who, you know, he was in the organization. He was part of the Bradenton Marauders championship club last year. Wasn't invited to spring training. I mean, you know, thought was he was going to probably play at Altoona all year, but did so well there that he got promoted to Indy, and then Pirates had a need, and he was deserving of a call-up. So not often you see a position player start the year in A ball, or the end of the last year in A ball, make the major leagues, and
the way it should be.
See a guy not invited to spring training.
The way it should be.
Come on. So in a year where there have been some surprises that have not been as good, it's nice to see guys like Luke Lowe come out of the woodwork and help out and really get on the radar for next year. Pirates were thin in that department this year in the outfield. Weaver with his 6th strikeout. We're talking about National Spark, Point Park tweet, and it is Roberto Clemente night there tonight, and see some of the Pirate fans making their way out to DC, and then this is here. See the arch over there. Always great to see Pirate fans out on the road out here in St. Louis. Thanks, Mary, for that tweet. Hashtag Bucks Booth. Let us know where you're at. Bill Vernon is here.
Bill Shirley sitting there taking in the ball game.
Making his way across the state.
The Quail.
There he is. Always instructing down at spring training. And congratulations to Bill. He got a statue in his honor, too, at the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame this year.
Any kind of honor he receives is very well deserved. Good man and great baseball man. He's done just about everything and done it very successfully.
Both as a coach, manager, and also as a player, too. Great to see them here tonight. Seeing a lot of half-hearted swings by the Pirates tonight. And you talk about the deception of Weaver. That must be playing into it.
Yeah, it's like, they're really not getting a good look at that fastball. That they start committing to that. It's like Yadier's reading their mind. He calls for that changeup in the way up front.
35 years old now, the perennial Gold Glove catcher of the Cardinals. Now, thought that was off the plate. He has to 2. A borderline pitch.
Computer
WB
says
Mason
ball.
strike zone, yeah. That's 5 of the last 6 struck out by Weaver. He has fanned 7 Pirates now. This is a team that does not strike out a lot. Sprinkles in a curveball every now and then, too. Mercer grounded into an inning-ending double play back in the 2nd. That's when the Pirates had their best chance. 1st and 2nd with 1 out. That's the only time that they've had a man in scoring position so far against Weaver. But that pitch count up to 78. You might get 6 innings from him tonight.
Which is above average.
Which is above average. Yeah. But also, you think about the Cardinals bullpen. It has been in flux, but as we look forward with Rosenthal out for the season, so O had to go back as a closer. Brett Cecil has not been what they were hoping for from the left side, but they got some help with Juan Nicasio. Yeah, Pirate. There's a base hit and maybe more. And Piscotty racing to cut it off. And he'll hold Mercer to a single.
Jordan made the right decision that time.
Scotty's got a good arm out there.
Watch this throw.
Very accurate arm.
Right on the back.
There are guys that throw harder in right field, but the few are as accurate.
Mercer, he was running hard right. He thought he had shot at a double coming out of the box. Scotty shut him down.
A good job to track that ball down too, keeping it from going in the corner. Kind of hockey boards here in St. Louis down the right field line. So now up to Williams with 2 outs. There's the ball man. The old George Hendrick look, the batting helmet, hat on underneath. Don't see guys do that anymore. The hitters would keep their cap on and then put their batting helmet over it. Probably too tight nowadays. There you go.
I think that kind of went out of style with the ear flaps.
That's right. Outlawed, the last to go without wearing ear flaps. Tim Raines, the Hall of Fame. 2002, last time you saw a major leaguer without the ear flaps, or at least one of them. Williams, in this case, adding some extra protection.
Yeah, I mean, that's getting to be more and more. Huh? You're probably someday going to say the last person to wear a helmet didn't have a face guard on.
Which is the final out. Mercer registering a 2-out single, but he's left on as Luke Weaver shut out the Pirates through 5.
Louis, 2-0 St. Louis Cardinals on the UPMC scoreboard over the Buccos. We look at David Freese. Well, he returns to his hometown of St. Louis this weekend. He's a busy man because he's celebrating his 1-year wedding anniversary. The anniversary of a stealth wedding for he and his wife, Maren. That's a photo from the day they were married, and it took place at a coffee shop in Shadyside. It was just the 2 of them, and the man on the left is Ian. He was the officiant for the ceremony. Now, Freese told me they didn't want the stress of planning a big wedding. They wanted to be quiet about it, so they did it just like that. They didn't tell anyone outside of the family until the season ended last season. Now, last winter, they did have a party right here in St. Louis for all the family and friends and David's current and former teammates. And Maren is expecting their first child after baseball season ends. So a big congratulations to David and Maren Freese on their anniversary and in advance of their upcoming newborn. Joe, how cool is that?
That is wonderful, and congratulations to them in advance. And David's going to be a good dad. Already a leader in the Pirates clubhouse. I'll be a leader in his house. Alex Mejia will start it off for St. Louis. And the pitcher, Weaver, Carpenter. He'll dispatch Mejia. 4 strikeouts for Trevor Williams.
Doing pretty good work, I think, tonight with that slider.
And he talks about that, you know, his out pitch is the sinker. I mean, he throws the fastball so much, but
yeah, we talk about the fastball percentage, but tonight it seems like there's been 2 or 3, 4 times where it's like, well, look at this slider. We don't talk about his slider hardly.
Yeah, because he's plenty content. You know, that out pitch isn't necessarily a strikeout. He just wants guys to put it in play. But tonight, yeah, we've seen that, a little extra sharpness to it. There are situations where you need a strikeout, right? Like when he got Molina in the 4th.
Slider.
There you go, right.
There's something right.
He was having trouble with the slider during that at bat, so. Luke Weaver with a base hit. The pretty good swing on it.
Kind of hung him a changeup. And he is actually, he was setting up low off the plate away. Ball was belt high inside corner. Changeup.
Yeah, this is uncharacteristically for Williams, and not really hitting his spots very often tonight as much as he normally does. But this is the make of a quiet competitor. His teammates call him a silent assassin out there. Not really that demonstrative. You don't see him pumping his fist out there or yelling into his glove or anything. But you know, on a night like this, and we've seen a few of these now, where you know it's not really going his way tonight. You said the slider's going well, but for not really finding his spots all that much. He's walked 3 men. He's still limiting damage when the Cardinals have put something together. You got to do that sometimes, right? I mean, you don't always have sharp, crisp stuff, right?
Very seldom. The vast majority, you're fighting one thing or another. Some days, just physically, a little soreness in there. What are you going to do? Say, no, I can't pitch. Another day, there might be a little wildness going on. Another day, you just got nothing on your fastball. It's, you know, straight as a string, not doing anything. I mean, there's always something going on, and then maybe once a month you get that game where, oh wow, everything's perfect. But that's the rarity.
Got to be able to pitch when you're not at your best. Williams has shown more and more that he's capable. He's walked Carpenter twice, and now he's behind 3-1 here. Another sign that Williams is maturing. That's where Ray Searage has been located tonight. He's letting the young man get through it. He knows what he needs to do. He's walked Carpenter 3 times. 4 walks by Williams. Well, let's take you back in time. Our day automotive this day in Pirates history. Back in '74, the Pirates beating the Expos 8-2. Dave Parker, a pinch hit grand slam in the 8th inning. And the gravedigger Richie Hebner with a 2-run triple. Willie Stargell and Jim Rooker each with a pair of hits. How about Rooker? We're going the distance as well. A couple of runs and 6 hits. He struck out 6 back in 1974. The Expos used to be a baseball team. They were located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
And that was that a home game or on the road?
Je ne sais pas.
That was?
I don't know in French.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, they're playing the Expos.
I don't know French.
Yeah. You don't need to. Especially now. Piscotty over 2. The Cardinals with 2 on and 1 out. Piscotty hit one right back to the mound. Started a double play back in the 1st.
You were talking about Ray just sitting there relaxing, and that's come to an end.
Yeah, falling behind another hitter here. Well, there was a stretch for Williams in May, June. Didn't allow more than 2 walks in any of those starts. But as the season has crept on, 4 walks now in 3 of his last 6 starts. Well, the Cardinals do not have the big name sluggers in their lineup, but they have plenty of guys that are capable. And A.J. Schugel will start to loosen. It's not because of pitch count for Williams. 4 walks. But at any moment could be out of the inning.
From the inning being over with.
Getting a favorable call just off the plate. Good spot for it.
Well, he threw some strikes, Carpenter, that got called balls, so he deserved to get that one.
It's been a strike pretty much all night. Doug Eddings. Diaz needs a moment. Wearing the hockey style mask with the soft cap underneath. Seeing if there's a dent. Now they disperse the impact so much better than the ones of the previous generation. Whether it's the traditional mask, Chris Stewart, or the hockey masks. The traditional masks aren't as traditional anymore. Lightweight titanium.
I think if they were heavier, they'd do a better job of absorbing the blow.
Yeah, they've got, you know, I don't know how all this stuff works, but engineers will tell you, right, that now they can make things stronger that weigh less. And
yeah, but with inertia, I would think you'd want them heavier. Guard against concussions.
Now you're blowing my mind now. Yeah, I don't know. That was one of those things.
Well, it'd be like, you know, hitting something heavy, it's not going to move much. You hit something that doesn't weigh much, it's easy to move.
That's inertia? I forgot what inertia was.
Well, yeah,
you're teaching me things that I haven't learned since.
Body at rest
grade, right?
Tends to stay at rest. I don't want to get into that kind of stuff, but what I'm saying is something that's heavy is harder to get moving than something that's light. So if I was wanting to wear a mask to protect me against concussions, you know, shocking my head back, I would want something heavy, because that would absorb the blow of the baseball rather than a light mask.
That makes a lot of sense. You could have been a science teacher.
No, that's just messing around in your garage type stuff. Okay. It's not science.
I hadn't heard that word in a long time. I think I know what that means.
A heavy bat hits a baseball the same speed as a light bat, which is going to hit harder.
Hopefully right at the shortstop. Oh, we'll take a strikeout. Williams gets the second out.
And a nice chase on that fastball well inside. Needed that one.
Now Tommy Pham has struck out and walked. Emerging as one of the more solid hitters in the National League. Pitcher Weaver at second, Carpenter on at first. Weaver had a base hit, and then Carpenter for the third time tonight walked. Trying to keep this one at 2-0. Pirates have been stymied by Weaver tonight. Williams early in this one, very much ahead of hitters, strike one, and now here in this fifth inning has been falling behind.
This is one of them, could be one of those game-changing at-bats right here. At the end of the game, you could talk about this at-bat right here for two different reasons. This is where they break it open, or this is where maybe you turn a little momentum the other way.
couple of those pitches very close, but both balls. 3-0 on the dangerous Tommy Pham. I remember Pham has homered off Williams in the 6 plate appearances he's had. But if Williams can come back to get him, he'll get out of this inning unscathed. 2 on, 2 out, and the 3-1. And that will load the bases. That's not what Williams wanted to do.
Well, still nobody hurt. He does get a new count.
Except for Pham's ribs. Other than that. And that one right on the side of Pham. Been nursing a right shoulder concern lately. Schugel ready if needed. Williams will try to work himself out of trouble here against Jose Martinez, the hottest hitter in their lineup right now. 10-game hitting streak. Good first strike. Lined out sharply and singled. The career minor leaguer was shown brightly in regular playing time now with St. Louis. Took a mighty rip.
That game, I mean, this is absolutely just challenging him there. I don't think that Trevor wanted to do it, but he threw his fastball just right down the pipe. You know, he's taking a little bit of a walk, maybe telling himself, hey, I got away with one now. I got to make some good pitches. Got the 0-2 count. And look where that last pitch was.
Base is full of Cardinals. One run is in. Carpenter is safe to score on the base hit by Jose Martinez.
Well, that was a scenario where you don't want to throw a strike there, 0-2. Trevor did. I believe a fastball that he wanted to get up high, and it was kind of belt high. A strong throw by Marte. Point in time.
A strike away from getting out of it with a 0. Instead, 2 across.
It looked like Diaz took that throw from way out in front of home plate, and then had to bring it all the way back to try and make a tag.
Pirates are wanting to take a look at this to see if Carpenter is out. A look on our Allegheny Health Network Super Moe. I got that front foot in. Marte playing in center field tonight with Andrew McCutcheon getting a day off. Here comes the call from New York. He's safe, and the Cardinals have a 4-0 lead. The Pirates now out of challenges.
Watch and see where Diaz is when he catches this ball. It's a little bit off the plate to the right.
Yeah, if he's
If
tucked in,
that throw is right on the plate, or maybe a little bit to the third base side, he's better off letting the ball travel all the way to where he wants to make the tag. But he kind of had to reach and backhand that ball. He didn't have that luxury to do that.
So Williams is out here in the 5th. Trying to prevent that 4th run from coming across. Jose Martinez with a 2-out, 2-run single to double the Cardinals lead, and now A.J. Schugel will inherit a couple of runners.
Schugel's numbers on the year: 25 games since being called up mid-season.
He's been asked
nail down this last out.
he's been asked to come on with men aboard a good bit lately, and
Little Jared Hughes role.
yeah. Starts Molina off with a curveball. Molina was having a hard time with Williams' slider. Schugel throws a changeup. That's his best pitch, and then the fastball at 90 right there. Williams done after 4 2/3 tonight. We had talked about with Williams, he had pitched his way out of trouble on many occasions, especially as the season has gone on, and a pitch he didn't want to leave in that spot on 0-2, and if he makes a better pitch, it could be a much different outcome tonight, but he knows that, part of the learning curve. Instead, Pham at third. Martinez after his hit at first. Sent out to right. Polanco able to bring it in. Cardinals add 2. 4-0 St. Louis. Glad you're with us here on this Friday night. First of 3 here in St. Louis, beginning a 9-game sojourn for the Pirates. Top of the order with Starling Marte to start things. Luke Weaver's been awfully good tonight. He's allowed 5 singles and has struck out 7. He has not walked a Pirate. Pitch count though up to 87, so likely going to see Weaver probably last this one, and that's it.
Who was it that, I know you know the answer to this.
Well, we'll find out.
The quality start.
John Lowe, the Detroit Free Press, right, a long time beat writer.
He obviously could see into the future, because 6 and 3 is now a quality start.
Yeah. 3 runs, 6 innings.
When he came up with that, maybe it wasn't, but it is now.
Yeah, now that is, well, by definition, more innings than average that you're seeing now. And this season, the average starting pitcher's earned run average is 449, right? So 3 runs in 6 innings, that's 450. So
you have an average ERA.
Or better.
Out there longer than most.
Yeah, or better. Yeah. So yeah, it's an above average start, a quality start.
Yep.
I think that's the thing that's changed now with the home runs are rising at such a sharp rate. I think we're used to seeing, you know, a good number of even starting pitchers with ERAs in the low 3s or below, and now anything in the 3s is well above average.
That's for sure.
Going back to the kind of the old standard. You hit 30 home runs. Oh, that's a good year.
Yeah.
2-3 years ago, he had 30 home runs. Those were the among the league leaders. All right, so the ebbs and flows of the game.
Yeah, it does. It goes back and forth. Not always the same reason, but it does go up and down.
Marte working along at bat. Garcia throws him out to start the frame. 9 pitches. You can save up to $10 per ticket when you use your Port Authority Connect card. You can save big on Pirates tickets for that last homestand for the Sunday through Thursday games at PNC Park. Get your tickets at pirates.com/Connect card. Save. Good to see the Bucco fans making their way here in St. Louis. A few folks probably live in here or southern Illinois. More off 0 for 2 tonight. You see why the Cardinals decided to trade away Mike Leake, because they've got Weaver, another pitcher, Jack Flaherty, who has been called up, that were really busting down the door at AAA.
Well, you got to be honest with yourself. Who's your best pitchers? Those ones you keep.
And so, there's some backlash. Cardinals were giving up on the season. They were trying to unload Leake's contract.
What do you mean? No way. There was backlash? It's unheard of.
Look at the lowdown right there with Milwaukee leading the Cubs in that important series for the Brewers. There's Jack Flaherty. We won't see him in the series, but well, that'll be a familiar face probably in years to come. Soft base hit for Moroff.
Got to one of those changeups. It's really got, watching Weaver pitch. Everybody seems to just be in between constantly. They're a little late on that four-seam fastball of his, and then they're a little early on the changeup. He just keeps everybody off balance.
This is not to be disparaging, but Weaver, who is a rookie, he looks young, but I mean, isn't that how you teach a 10-year-old how to pitch? Add, subtract, right? Before you start throwing breaking pitches, and you can be effective if you do it the right way. Locate.
It's very, very simple. It gets overcomplicated all the time.
Weaver's made it look simple so far tonight. About 6 singles.
Lawrence Vaughn said it best. All pitching is destroying timing of the hitter. A little behind, a little out front. Stay out of the big part of the bat. That's it. Now, you got to figure out how to do that, but that's what it is.
Orange Spahn, the Hall of Fame left-hander. Weaver's next offering will be his 100th pitch. Eric Lilliquist, Cardinals pitching coach, going to come out, and they got some activity. Matt Bowman is on the right, and Ryan Sheriff, new to town. Haven't seen him for the Cardinals yet.
They say he's going to be a real star.
And the confab is through. Polanco has struck out both times he's faced Weaver tonight. In his first game since August 12th back in Toronto. That's the benefit of September rosters. Polanco can be activated, kind of worked back in. And in terms of, normally if you've been gone for 4 weeks, hitter might go down to minor leagues, get some work and get some at bats, try to get that timing back. But the regular season for the minor leagues is over. Indianapolis keeps their season going though tonight by winning 5-0 over Durham. And Robbie will check in as Altoona also in action tonight too. So the top two Pirates minor league affiliates in postseason play.
We got a game plan going here on Polanco. Everything just down away, down away, down away, down away, down away. Whether it's fastball, changeup, doesn't matter. They're hitting the same spot.
Out deep to center. And Pham able to track it down. I'll tell you about the minor league teams for the Pirates, and Robbie's got more on that.
Yeah, you mentioned it. The Indianapolis Indians with their first ever playoff shutout at Victory Field, 5-0 the final score. Nick Kingham, a fantastic night, 7 shutout innings. He walks 3, strikes out 4, does it all on 95 pitches. A fantastic outing for them. Indianapolis 5-0 winners over Durham. And in Bowie, Maryland, the Altoona Curve take a 2-0 lead in the best-of-5 series with an 8-4 win. Mitchell Tolman, another RBI single. The kid is brand new to Single A, producing again for the Altoona Curve. The next win will put them into the finals. As for Indianapolis, Joe, they are down 2-1. They got to win 2 more in the best-of-5 against Durham. Let's hope they can pull it off.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie, for that. And good to see Kingham with a great start. That's a name that we heard a lot about in spring training. And may see him in the major leagues next season. So Bell with the man on. Pirates trying to get something going here tonight against Weaver. Pirates have had 1 man in scoring position. Goes back in the 2nd inning. And not a runner past second. Weaver has thrown as many as 111 pitches in his brief major league career. That was a couple of starts ago against Milwaukee. Hard hit and through. And Moroff turning the bag. We'll get to 3rd here with 2 outs. Josh Bell with his 2nd hit tonight.
And that's going to do it. Even though Weaver has had some success with Freeze, they're going to make the move right now.
So Weaver, who got 14 swings and misses tonight. The Pirates starting to connect on him here in the 6th. Men at the corners, 2 outs. Pirates trail it 4 with a 2-out hit. Luke Weaver done after 5 2/3. Scattering 7 singles, but 2 of those here in the inning. And for the first time, the Pirates with a base runner at 3rd. David Freese struck out twice against Weaver, getting to face Bowman.
lot of work. 67 games now.
One of the most often used pitchers.
52 innings in 66 games. So he's used to coming in and getting a partial here or there.
And this is when they like to use him, a ground ball pitcher with men on. Here with 2 outs. You commented, Bob, that Matheny pulling Weaver prior to Freese. Freese did not look good against Weaver in those 2 plate appearances. Though he did work
a couple of strikeouts. And didn't want to get him up there, though, at 3rd time. In with the 4-run lead. Probably more about the pitch count, being a young guy, and they were on the. I mean, they're still got an outside shot at maybe getting the postseason this year, but it's an outside shot for sure, and they are thinking toward the future, and they got a pretty good one right now with Weaver.
Mike Matheny, the
kind of a tough balancing act at times.
Yep. And Bowman's been in this role plenty. Strikeout Freeze. Pirates' best chance goes by the wayside. 2 hits, 2 left, and the Cardinals still lead 4-0. Look at this one on the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Pirates out hitting the Cardinals tonight, but St. Louis has made the most of their limited opportunities. Pirates have scattered those 7 hits for the most part. Schugel came on, stranded the 2 men he inherited in the 5th. Grichuk, then Garcia and Mejia. 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Cardinals order. Marte patrolling center tonight, gets the first out. And between innings, the 3rd base umpire tonight, Las Diaz.
He likes to give gifts away. When the inning's over, he collects the last baseball. He even had an extra one in his pocket. Goes over and makes kids happy. He was even giving away bubble gum and stuff. Pulling it out of his pockets. Giving it to everybody. All right, who wants gum? I got gum right here.
Yeah, you want some candy? Gum? It's nice. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
There.
Sure, I'll take some. All right.
I like to go home after a game, say, hey, the umpire came over and gave me some gum tonight.
Las Diaz, the ex-Marine from Miami, Florida. And
give everybody some.
There you go. Blow a big bubble for me.
It's getting toward the the second half of the ball game, and knows he's not going to chew it all himself.
Now he needs to get one of the ball bags that Doug Ennings has. The home plate umpire's got those saddle bags on him for the balls, right?
Well, I'm going to watch this at the end of this inning and see if they throw the ball 2 innings in a row. Wherever the ball ended up, they ended up throwing it to last. And then he takes it over and gives it to some kids.
One of the great parts of our game, right? You come out to a ball game, there's
maybe the greatest. Take care of those kids.
Yeah, you might have an interaction with somebody. Play by Mercer. 2 up and 2 down.
Who else is pitching this series? Do you know?
I'm glad you asked, Bob, because I would like to tell you about it. Our Nissan Road Ahead shows Chad Kuhl will get the ball tomorrow for the Buccos against Carlos Martinez. That action will begin for you at 6:30, and then the finale of the frame. Ivan Nova gets the start against Michael Wacha. That will be at 1:30 right here on AT&T Sportsnet.
Nova with a little extra time off in between starts. See if that great control is back where it was the first part of the year.
Yeah, try to get him right. He was extraordinary in April, of course, but very good throughout most of the season, running off a dry spell. I guess pitchers can have slumps too, right?
Maybe more slumps than the hitters give it.
Nova, the pitcher of the month in April. The veteran at age 30. Alex Mejia started the year at AA Springfield. Cardinals have their AAA club in Memphis, and making his way to the major leagues. Mejia is a shortstop. No, it's so funny that the Cardinals started the year with Aledmys Diaz as the shortstop. Remember, he came on the scene last year because of an injury.
Great rookie year.
Yeah, really came on the scene and really did not materialize this year and got sent to the minor leagues. Doesn't even get called up in September. So Mejia getting the call over that. Check out the lowdown. The Point Park tweet. Who knew that Milwaukee was a physicist? Is there anything you can't do? I ask myself that same question pretty regularly.
I'll have to work on that.
And
watch the ball. Where's the ball going?
Mejia committed to swing. And A.J. Schugel, a 1-2-3 sixth. Still 4-0 St. Louis. Here in St. Louis, 4-0. The Cardinals have the advantage. Pirates will try to turn that around against a new Cardinal pitcher, John Brebbia.
Doesn't give up any hits, does he? Look at that opponent batting average. $1.74.
The rookie has really come on. Being asked to get more important outs as the year has moved along.
Good location for the first pitch slider. Right on the edge.
He's known for his command. That's really been his hallmark in his long travels through the minor leagues. He was originally a Yankees selection, but had to move through independent baseball for a number of years.
Good spot with that pitch.
Picks apart Luplow.
Luplow kind of acted like he didn't like that call, but that's dead in the middle of the plate. Looked like it was plenty high, almost the entire baseball up in the strike zone.
George Cantos, recently activated, getting active in the Pirates bullpen. Telling you about Brebbia, he had been released by the Yankees. He pitched a season in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the Canaries, different colored bird, and was in Laredo, Texas for a season.
Any other bird teams? Just Canaries?
I don't know what the Laredo team is called.
The Roadrunners, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. the big leagues for the first time this season for Brebbia. Always like to see guys that have that long road make their way to the show. Elias Diaz tonight 1 for 2. He singled back in the second. Brebbia started growing that beard when he no, I'm just kidding.
Not when he was with the Yankees.
Started in high school actually with that. Looks like that is a formidable mane.
Yeah, Bruce Sutter look out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That Cardinal uni.
Matching red. Now full on Diaz. Pirates out hitting the Cardinals tonight 7-4, but all singles. That's the first walk the Pirates have drawn tonight. No man aboard. Here with 1 out in the 7th. MLB.tv every night, every device. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Well, Mercer batted when the Pirates had their best chance tonight. That was first and second with 1 out in the second inning. And grounded into an inning-ending double play. Singled his next time. Breaking ball in for strike 2. Thinking about second, but he'll get the sure out. The 4-run lead here in the 7th.
That's the right move.
Diaz at second, but now 2 away. Pitcher spot due up next, and instead of A.J. Schugel, of course, we're going to pinch hitter here, and Adam Frazier back in game action after his hamstring concern, putting him on the shelf after he left the game on August the 27th. Frazier had been enjoying a very nice second half. I think at 3:30. Trying to get the Pirates on the board. And that is into right for a base hit. Diaz around third, and he's going to score on Adam Frazier's 2-out hit. The Pirates are on the board. It's 4-1.
I'm going to take a couple weeks off and then just get right back in there and knock in a run.
Frazier hitting with 2 outs this year at .352, coming in second best in baseball. So cool and collected at the plate. Same approach.
Yes, very calm up there.
Big fan of his bat. And so now 4-1.
glancing up the scoreboard, make sure he was positive on outs and score and all that kind of stuff.
I'd imagine as a pinch hitter, you got to kind of get yourself into the game a little bit.
Double, triple, quadruple check and make sure you know what's going on. I mean, those are the things that help you make your decision about your base running, kind of chances you're going to take, stuff like that. So, yeah, you got to look 2 or 3 times. Measure twice, cut once.
You're full of tips tonight. You are a wealth of knowledge. Cooking.
Cooking
tips. Oh yeah, you got recipes.
Let's see.
Grilling. More grilling.
I don't know.
Cook.
Lori does all the grilling. I do the eating. I'm the eater in the house.
Yeah, okay. Tips on eating. Bravia strikes out Marte. Pirates get a run. And we'll stretch here with the Cardinals leading 4-1.
They'll be getting a lot of later inning work as we head toward the finish line here.
Came over from the Giants as a waiver claim. And had a groin concern that had kept him out for a few weeks. So Bravia is out as Harrison Bader will pinch hit. Cardinals really like this young player. We won't see a lot of him next to Katos.
He's a hustler. Most youngsters are.
Right, trying to make a name for themselves. Look at the lowdown. Nationals winning a wild one with the Phillies tonight. Washington nearing clinching, as are the Dodgers. And Milwaukee leading an important game against Chicago. The Cardinals and Brewers 5 back of the Cubs entering play tonight, and both teams still have their sights on Colorado. They're 3 games back of the Rockies for that second and final wild card berth.
The Diamondbacks were behind. Unusual.
Yeah, the Dodgers had lost 12 of 13. 7 in a row. There hasn't been a team in 100 years to win the World Series that has had a stretch like that within a season. But look at what the Dodgers have done overall. Still the best record in baseball. So instead of winning 115 games, they may win 105 this year. Still probably going to be the favorites. Luplow will pick up the second out. Nice quick inning so far for Contos. And just a reminder to you, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Tastes great. Less filling.
You know a lot about a lot of things.
Oh,
You'd be really good at Jeopardy, I think, right?
Your ex-partner taught me that one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bob Uecker. George Contos wanting to be in a higher pressure role. Well, he kind of worked in middle relief with the Giants those years. But for Contos getting the opportunity with the Pirates now, and of course here trailing, but will probably be one of the more primary setup men to Felipe Rivero. Arbitration eligible next season, so the Pirates can keep him if they so desire, and by all accounts, it looks like that they will. It's 6 years. And, most of the time, it's 3 years at the minimum, sometimes 2. And then either 3 or 4 years in arbitration.
6 years, you're free.
Unless you sign some other contract or whatever in the interim.
Tell that it's like you're an indentured servant until you get 6 years.
Yeah. That's exactly what you are. But prior to free agency, you were for your entire career. Unless the team can cut you free. You could either sign the contract or not sign the contract.
For most guys, that wasn't much of a choice.
Yeah. That's why salaries have escalated so much through the years. A great documentary by Ken Burns, Baseball. They pointed out when baseball was beginning in its early days, the average salary was 7 times the average U.S. salary. In 1976, it was 8 times. So it hardly had budged, but that was just when free agency began. I don't know what it is now, but it's way more than 8. And he wasn't sure that he went, but Piscotty is very upset with Doug Eddings. And Eddings allowing him to express his frustration. Contos, nice clean 1-2-3 inning. 4-1 St. Louis, and it'll be Harrison Bader staying in the game to play in left. Randall Grichuk will swing over to right. So Piscotty out, and the Sheriff is in. Ryan Sheriff. Some good numbers in just 5 major league games.
Does the Sheriff actually have a big star on his glove?
Oh wow, yeah. like a Sheriff star, really.
Yeah,
I'm glad that he's playing into the fun of his name. Off is out.
They came right up through the pretty quickly. Started a year out in Nottingham.
It's a distant affiliate, apparently.
The Old England League. Old England League.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ace pitcher when he was there was Archer.
Here's Polanco, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
And I told you I was going to leave it alone.
I know. Well,
I couldn't. Yeah. But as soon as I saw the glove, I was just like, okay.
He's having fun with it. We'll have fun with it. Okay, yep. Sure. We'll have to do. I mean, when we went to Colorado last year and Trevor Story was in there for the first time, we had to actually make a pun jar, finding ourselves for commenting about his name. But the Sheriff, I only seen him once in the series. I think we can allow ourselves a little fun.
I think the worst ever was Brownie and I with Ben Sheets one day. We were finally asked to knock it off.
Polanco got a piece of that.
Neither one of us would allow the other one to have the last word.
Ryan Sheriff out of Culver City, California. Just right there at L.A. There's Greg Brown. He'll get the first and last word tonight, working solo over there, because of the untimely passing of John Wayner's brother, and that's why we don't have Rock with us here in St. Louis, and we've been very saddened to hear the news, and hope Rock and his family, everybody is doing okay here this weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. Can't imagine what they're going through.
Polanco fighting through this at bat, trying to.
That ball got in on his hands.
I don't like seeing him grab anywhere after taking that big swing after just coming off the DL.
Yeah, he needs to stay healthy, doesn't he?
Yeah, hard sometimes. You know, thought you know, they don't bring him back unless the player is pronounced to be totally healthy, but sometimes those injuries can reoccur, and it happened 3 times for Polanco this year. Sheriff wins that duel.
Ran that fastball in on his hand, kind of handcuffed him, and then went breaking ball down the way for a strikeout.
Well done. Here's Josh Bell. Pirates need to get something going. Time running out here tonight in the 8th. Adam Frazier a 2-out single, driving in a run in the 7th. But Bell with 2 hits tonight. Taking a ball out of his holster, send it back to the Sheriff. So 1-2 on Bell. Even 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bell having a fine rookie campaign. Might end up with the most home runs by any Pirates rookie ever. Hits 3 more, he will. 20 games remain after tonight.
Got a good shot maybe to get a couple of those on this road trip. Miller Park, Great American Ballpark, a couple of home run hitters delights.
He's got a 3-hit night. Josh Bell with 3 singles.
I always thought Bush, kind of, since they built this place, pretty fair as far as home runs.
I agree. Especially because it gets out down the lines here too, so you can't really get a lot of cheapies. Well, they're going to go with the deputy. Old friend Juan Nicasio coming on for St. Louis. The Cardinals, just their 4 hits, making the most of it. 4-1 they lead. And now it's up to Juan Nicasio to try to prevent the Pirates from coming back in this one.
Well, as we know, Juan has been tough this year. We're very familiar with those numbers.
Spent about a week with the Phillies. Earned a victory there. And was traded to St. Louis. Freese has struck out all 3 times tonight. Freese over the last just over a month now, dating back to August 6th. He's come up 107 times. He has struck out 34 times. So more than once out of every 3 times with 4 extra base hits. So he is, although he's coming in with a hitting streak, it's been a lot of singles and a lot of strikeouts, which is something we're not used to seeing from David Freese. But he's got a chance here to put the Pirates within a run. Facing Nicasio in his Cardinals debut.
Paint with that fastball at 97 right on the corner. On the black. At the call.
The 1-2. Like kind of a straight slider there from Nicasio. Bell singled with 2 outs. He's aboard. Now the 2-2. That's the one thing that doesn't matter where Freese is, if he's going well or not. He'll work those at bats. He'll try to get his way on, walk, very high on base percentage.
So, you know, his style, going the other way and staying off the plate. You know, leads into that sort of thing.
Jordan Luplow hoping for his chance.
Little long at bats.
If Luplow comes up, he's got some pretty good power. He would be the tying run. Freese is used to facing some former teammates when he plays the Cardinals, but not as recently as Nicasio. Set up away. Freese spoils it at 98. Pretty much staying away.
Not this time.
Softly hit. Barehanded by Nicasio. What a play to get Freese.
Got that pick at first base.
Thought that might be a base hit. And that's Juan Nicasio's debut for St. Louis. The Lumber and back in Pittsburgh the last time that the Cardinals were to face the Pirates. Tommy Pham hitting one of the longest home runs, probably the longest home run we've seen this season. He was really bringing the Lumber that night. And he'll lead off for St. Louis, who only collected 4 hits tonight, but they have made them count.
Daniel Hudson on to try and keep it a 3-run game as we get here real close to the end. Pirates just 3 outs left. Hudson has to put up a 0 here.
If it stays this way, if the Pirates get 2 men on, they'll bring the tying run up. Pham been on twice. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, where the Pirates will likely face Sun Hwan Oh. Oh, and 2 of his last 3 times against the Pirates, they've scored multiple runs against him. So wipe out slider there from Daniel Hudson. His stuff, I mean, we've watched it. As you look at the lowdown, the Rockies trailing the Dodgers. I mean, his stuff is as good as just about anybody out there.
No, absolutely. You know, if you were down in the stands at the bullpen watching him warm up, you'd say, wow, this guy's got as good a stuff as anybody you see. But at times he just hasn't pitched up to that stuff this year.
Yeah, the feeling that you get in his first season as a Pirate is, and of course not every time, but a lot of times when a game was on the line and he was brought in, that he was not able to convert. But I was looking it up the other day, and you know, it's an inordinate amount of times. You know, it's going to happen sometimes, but it wasn't all the time. And if he could just, you know, kind of rebound and maybe finish strong here in September, and then take that confidence with him in the next season, then as it stands right now, you would think that he would factor in probably along with Kontos and maybe even Neverauskas.
That's why they got him.
Yeah.
Signed him over the winter. It was to basically pitch that 8th inning. And who knows what was going to happen. He might even have had to close some games. Kind of maybe plan B or C, something like that along those lines, depending on how everybody went. So I'm sure they're still thinking for next year, looking for, you know, who's going to be the setup guy, who's going to pitch the 8th inning when the team's in the lead.
Martinez gets underneath it,
and Daniels right there in that mix, but he has to perform.
Because remember, you know, he might have been plan B, because the way that the Pirates were talking early on in the season, you know, on times where Tony Watson, who started the year as the closer, might be off. Hudson would maybe get the ball, but of course Rivero emerging, showing much better control this season, and becoming one of the better 9th inning men in baseball this season.
Yeah, I think Rivero was probably the guy that they wanted to have the job by the end of the year, but I'm sure they were surprised by how quickly he developed. I mean, he wasn't that long into the year when it was pretty obvious to everybody that he was going to be the guy.
Yeah, he was special. And I think when this year is complete, and we look back, there, of course, what stands out most is, you know, you always judge a team. Do they make the postseason, and how far do they advance? Pirates will almost assuredly not make the postseason, but Rivero and several of the starting pitchers really, you know, wild cards when the year started. What are you going to get from Chad Kuhl? What are you going to get from Trevor Williams? And we've seen some good positives too from this season, like Rivero.
It's the offense that's going to, you know, take some tinkering. The team did not score enough runs this year. It's just kind of
4th fewest per game in baseball, out of the 30 teams. And he'll drop in for a hit. Molina 1 for 4 tonight.
You know, I think that's what, you know, most fans are looking for. A lot of fans that, you know, I've talked to, how they're going to score runs. You know,
but I like what you said. You said it'll take some tinkering, because if you think about, like tonight, you know, Polanco coming back. Polanco last year in 4 months looked like he was going to be a perennial all-star. And this year, you know, you see Josh Bell emerging. What if he even improves next season? What if Andrew McCutchen can be more consistent? We saw 2 torrid months from McCutchen, something that we did not see at all last year. So can he be more consistent? Can we see some of that as he plays on into his 30s? Of course, Marte with the suspension, gone for half the year, and he has not hit like he did last year. There's McCutchen getting a routine day off today. So some of the improvement will come, and Jung Ho Gang's absence, of course.
If he was an everyday player for us, he might have hit 25 home runs this year.
Oh, this year maybe 30, 35, the way the ball's been jumping this year. But I see what you mean, and so some of it may just be guys returning to the back of their baseball cards. Hudson, a nice inning. We'll go to the 9th. Pirates need 3. So instead of O, the Cardinals.
It's going to be O. It'll be Nicasio.
Yeah, the de facto closer of the Cardinals, O, who pitched last night in San Diego, but not the previous 2 days. So he's
how many O's are de facto, San Diego?
I don't know.
There's a lot of O's. We don't know.
So Nicasio faces Luplow.
One of the problems for the Pirates have been too many O's. Only one run on the board.
Nicasio, who got the final out in the 8th inning, trying to go for a 4-out save. He has 4 other save opportunities. He had 3 with the Pirates this year. Converted 2 of the 3. 1 with the Dodgers 2 years ago. But Mike Matheny, O had been removed as the closer. Trevor Rosenthal had reascended to that role, and then Rosenthal out for the year. So O waits, and Nicasio in his Cardinals debut has gotten 3 outs. Bidding for his 4th career save. Jordy Mercer tonight, 1 out of 3. Nearly 41,000 here tonight. Mercer trying to keep it going. Cubs have lost tonight. They were shut out by Jimmy Nelson and the Brewers. So both the Brewers and Cardinals would move to 4 games back of the Cubs unless the Pirates can turn this around. Out to center. Pham back on it. Able to retire it. And Juan Nicasio records 4 outs for his first save in his first game as a Cardinal. And St. Louis takes game 1 of this series.
Yeah, they're trying to stay in this thing. Cubs went down to defeat earlier. They'll pick up the game, get a little bit closer.
Rockies also having a hard time with the Dodgers tonight, so St. Louis poised to perhaps move a little closer in the wild card chase as well. Jose Martinez with that big hit early. 2-run single in the 5th, knocking Williams out of the game. And that kind of changed the tenor of this one here this evening.
Never got that offense going at all tonight. Just a lot of scattered singles.
This one's through here.